Hey there, Board Game Brody here with Let's Table It, where we get games to the table. Like Sand Art, it's a paper and pencil blank and write game of building your own sand art and scoring points for having the best one. The game is for 2 to 4 players, takes 30 to 45 minutes to play, and it's published by 25th Century Games. Now, this is the game setup here. These cards are referred to as the workbench and will be the actions that you can take when moving your hand token when it's your turn. These are the layer cards. They will score you points for matching colors to the ones on the sides of your bottle. These cards up here are the objective cards, and either the player with the most will win the listed points on that card, or if a shape, every player has, opportunities to gain the points on there if you make the shown shape. Each player has their own bottle sheet and a set of 6 colored pencils to use. Now let's get creative. Come up with a name and a logo of your sand art shop. I'm going to go with Sandstorm Innovations, and my logo will be something like this. I know I'm not an artist, but hey, let's go with it. This is the bottle, and you start adding sand at the bottom, and then you fill it upwards. Once you have filled sand to fill a section, you will be able to take the listed points on the left instead of take the ability listed on the right. So players take turns, and during your turn, you'll be moving your hand token to another card on the workbench in the direction that your thumb is pointing towards, and you can move your token to any unoccupied location on the workbench in that direction. Then the player will take one action from that location. Each card has 2 locations, and each will have 1 or 2 actions listed there. If another player is on the top section of that card, then another player can choose the bottom section of that exact card. When getting to your new location, you will flip the hand token so that the thumb now points in the other direction. There are 4 types of actions: gain sand, pour sand, mix sand, and shake it up. The gain sand action will show a shovel with a number and a color, and you will take the color you gain and mark a diagonal line through a box of each that you gain. Some locations will allow you to gain 2 colors of the same action. Other actions allow you to choose 1 color of sand to gain from the color shown to the numbers shown. That's gaining sand right there. Pouring sand is where some fun comes into play. This action allows you to move sand from your stashes and add it to your bottle. This action is shown by a funnel. Color-specific funnels are used only for that color, and the gray funnel allows you to pour any color sand. Now, you can pour as much sand as you'd like, up to the amount that you've already gained in your stash of that color. When pouring sand, it must not defy the laws of gravity, meaning you can never have empty spaces below a filled section in your bottle, and you will always work bottoms up. You can't fill sections not touching each other. When pouring sand, you will fill the entire section in your bottle. Each section is marked with dots, and the number of dots is the amount of sand from your supply needed to fill in that section. So the small sections without any dots do not cost anything from your supply to fill in, but they may only be filled in while you are filling in another section that touches it. They are free, but only fillable with the same color you are using while you are taking a connected section pouring action. So to pour, color in this section at the bottom level of the bottle with that colored pencil. Then mark X's or fill in the bottle sheet supply for those colors and cross off the amount of sand used in that pour. Next, mixing sand. So you can only gain yellow, red, and blue sand. The other colors need to be made by mixing sand. Red and yellow makes orange, red and blue makes purple, and yellow and blue makes green. The actions will show the equation of how to make the shown color. So to mix sand, you will cross off equal amounts of each primary color in the stash or in your stash, and then gain the same amount of sand shown in the secondary color in your stash. Bada bing, bada boom. Lastly, the shake-up action. This action shows a symbol of a bottle with 2 shake indicators on both sides. With this action, you can do either or both of the following 2 actions. Pour up to 2 extra sand dots without taking it from their stash. This would be if the same color as sand in a section of the top layer, and it must add to this section of that color. This can be 2 different 1 dots or 1 2 dot section. And then the second possible action is to shake up the layer cards on the table. This will be the 2 cards from one of the sides and then replace them with 2 new layer cards. And those are the options. You will be taking turns with all the players taking a turn, and then the first player token is passed to the left to begin a new round. As you fill up your bottle with sand, you will want to try to match colors on layer cards plus win points on objective cards. Layer cards are gained by moving your hand token to the ends of the workbench to take a layer card. This card can be placed on the side of your bottle, filled in to match the image on that card. A layer card can be used on either side of the bottle, but may not be flipped upside down, and you cannot score a layer card more than once. Objective cards are scored at the end of the game. Only one player will score the first finish card, and only one player scores the most color cards. Then multiple players can gain points for the images. You cannot have extra sand of the same color touching the image, so just the exact image with other colors that surround it. Once a player completely fills in the bottle, the game end is triggered and players continue to finish the round so that all players have the same amount of turns. And then score is then calculated, and the player with the most points wins the game. And well, that's Sand Art by 25th Century Games. It's a game of choosing the best action for what you need at the time in that game. Remember, you can go to the left any number of cards from where your hand token is in that direction of the thumb, but then your next action needs to be in the opposite direction. So you really will be going back and forth, but if you get to the end, you will need to go back the other way. Sometimes this might mean big moves so that you have more cards to choose from for your next turn. Or if you are good at planning, you might be able to combo in some turns to be, very efficient in that manner and get some things done. The game starts with gaining sand, and the more the better, which will kind of be a thing for a while, but then you can start mixing in colors or pouring in sand to get things going. Now, don't think you should just gain a ton of sand back to back for a long time at the beginning and then do the other actions without gaining any more sand after that. As your pouring and the designs probably won't be efficient and you will waste some actions in doing that. But rather some of this and then some of that, and you will see how you play, how often you will want to or need to have each type of action done to your liking. But the main idea is to be going after the objective cards and trying to match colors with different layer cards. And after that, it's just, plugging in needs to do, those different things. The other strategic part is knowing when to fill in the extra spaces that don't have a dot on them and how to put that into your equation of your action selection. You want to do it at the best time and the color that you want it to be, but you might find times where you will mess that up. Maybe you forget the plan and, it's too late to go back because you've already added sand there. Also, sometimes it might be wise to have a storage of a color to use for mixing, as you will be able to use the equation to make as much as you can of that color. Or when pouring, you need to figure out how much sand you want to use, and you don't want to pour some of the color just to gain more of that color to pour more again. So you want to have the amount that you want to pour and then pour it, and then you can decide, what other colors need to go in there. The designs will have you pour in small amounts, sometimes as you don't want to over pour and then ruin your own design. So just be thoughtful on what your plans are. Overall, it's a very artsy game. Planning out your design and then when and how to take actions will be, the biggest focus of the game. Besides that, it's your own little creation with your different colors, and you actually are coloring in, different shapes to form your own masterpiece. Again, this is Brody with Let's Table It, where we get games to the table. Please like and subscribe to our channel. We are working hard to bring to you videos like this one so if these games are ones that you want to get to your own table.